Yo, guys, this week we learned a lesson 7 years in the making. 7 years it took us to learn one thing. I know it's hard headed and probably a little bit unbelievable, but you got to check it out on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. Yo, for those of you guys that don't know, that truck right there, that's my 1965 C10. I bought that truck February 14th. I'm sure you can realize why I remember that date. In 2013. So over 10 years I've had that thing, right? And I absolutely love the truck, okay? Andrew actually found it for me, on Craigslist, so obviously that was a while back. But that was my only vehicle. Okay, kind of a lie. I did that last time too. I tried to talk about it. I had that, when I bought that, I had that in my 53 Pontiac, and that was it. Well, and my shovel head. I think I had a Ninja. Either way, that was my daily driver. That's true. From 2013 until it got hit in 2016. So a little over 3 years. Almost closer to 4. It was like November 7th, it got wrecked in 2016. You guys realize this 2023, simple math, it's about to be 7 years next month since I had that truck. Well, since it was my daily driver, because I've driven it a couple of times, all smacked up. Guys, it sucks. It's terrible, right? Because I absolutely love the thing. I set it up so it was like, guys, I did a lot of research to buy this thing. Probably more research than I've done on anything in my whole life to find the perfect old truck I could drive every day and fall in love with. And I did, and a Honda Odyssey ruined it for me. Or did it? See? I'm stubborn, guys. Probably figured that out. So I've held on to this thing. It sat in my other garage at the other house for about 2 years. We moved here, sat here for almost 5. Again, I've started up every now and then, all that kind of stuff you're supposed to do, so it doesn't just go to complete hell. But, well, yeah, we're not doing any favors for it, right? So I started looking, well, let me show you what's wrong with it. I think I've shown you before, but I'll show you again, and then we'll sit down and talk about it, because my arm's already getting tired. So clearly it's not like in perfect condition, even beforehand, because we had like a repair here, an upcoming repair right there. That was from a Honda Accord that decided to zig when he was trying to zag. And the paint ain't perfect. It's like an 04 Mako job. It's got some, American Racing wagon wheels on it that, whatever. It's not exactly the way I want to set it up, but it's the exact truck I wanted. And the perfect one for me, right? I always say, buy the best one you can afford. 36,000 original miles when I got it. California truck, second owner, had a 350 with a 4-speed, and it wasn't all chopped up. I mean, the gas tank still in the original spot and all that, so it was great, until it wasn't. All right, so you guys know we're not just going to learn one lesson, right? And it's been 7 years. So over that time frame, I learned a lot more than one thing. And I'm trying to relay a few of them to you, right? Some you already know, and some maybe you won't. But first and foremost, look both ways before you cross the street, right? I mean, obviously I did that. Guys, I don't know where this van came from. The kid, he was in the truck with me. He don't know where it came from, He was driving by that point, so, he had a little experience then. I got buddies of mine live right over there. We talk about it a lot. And one of my buddies even said, he's like, man, I drive right. He turns on that road every day. He's like, I don't know how this happened. Neither do I. It happened, right? But I made some mistakes there that cost me money in the long run. The week prior, like that weekend, I was looking at getting either, classic car insurance, because my buddy Jason was always carrying on. Dude, you drive that thing every day. These people around here, you're going to drive, somebody's going to hit you. And it wasn't really a reality for me because other than like putting my car in a ditch at 16 years old, I hadn't been in any accidents. You know, I was like, not me. Yeah, it can happen to anybody, right? We all know this. So, he got in my head, and rightfully so. Obviously, he was right, you know. So I started looking at like Haggerty and Grundy and these other ones, and I was between those two, kind of just battling back and forth. And guys, sometimes I have a hard time making decisions. You know, like little nitpicks. So I said, you know what? I'll figure it out during the week. Next weekend, I'll make it happen. Tuesday, I got hit. So that pissed me off, right? I had USA at the time, which they did great on my new vehicles. They suck on old vehicles, guys. They, it was like $2,000, $2,500 they offered me for the truck. Wasn't worth it. So, Jason was telling me, yank the motor, do this, do that. I couldn't wrap my head around the whole thing, guys. I love this truck so much, and here it's ruined. So I put it in the garage, parked the same way it is here, like against the wall, and just tried to forget about it, you know? And that was that, right? I was like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. So within a month, I went and bought a whole new cab and this and bedsides and everything I needed, right? It ended up being a GMC truck, not a Chevy truck. So that was my ignorance. And it was a little rustier than I thought it was going to be and all this kind of stuff. And guys, it's over. I was overwhelmed. I thought I was just going to jump at it. And then I realized I started screwing up right away. It was a whole thing. Sold that, made a couple bucks, so that ain't bad. But, so this is mistake after mistake after mistake, right? And even at the scene of the accident, guys, I was never in an accident before. The cop tells me I got to have it towed. I was like, I've driven the thing 3 or 4 times, right? I lived 1.5 miles away. Now you got to have it towed. That was a whole thing. They tow it. Fly-by-night tow company cost me $500 to get the truck back. And then I drove it home 15 miles anyway. So it's like, God, man. Everything went wrong, right? So some of it inexperience, some of it not, actually all of it really inexperience. So I had all these grand gestures. Then I was going to buy a roller, buy a truck that, didn't have a title because, that's perfectly legal, by the way. And swap mine because that's a solid plan. So all these other ideas I had, right? And guys, at the end of the day, I didn't do any of them. I did try to get a couple. I called on some trucks, and guys, right after I bought this thing, prices went through the roof. And then I moved from California out here. Different state that the vehicles are in, guys. And I say state, not just location. I'm saying, a lot of rust out here. So, and if you get something not rusty, you're gonna pay. So these are all things I was dealing with, right? To where, guys, time, it's a son of a bitch, because it just goes. So I sit in the corner, and that's where she sat. I had, every now and then I'd get this great idea, and I found a cab, I'm gonna do the cab swap, and just do that. For a little while, I think I was gonna put it on a Tahoe chassis or something, but with a different cab. That's what happens when you think too much, or not enough. Well, not at all. I don't know. Whatever. But, so, finally, I'm like, Chaz, what are you doing? Right? I realize I'm creeping up on 7 years. I got to make a decision. So I did. And I thought the frame was bad, so I started calling around, and I got one guy to another guy to another, all the local guys, different shops. And, turns out, guys, as I said in the video, it's not as bad as I thought. And that's because you look at that, I think, oh my God, right? That's not how this guy thought. He walked in and said, yeah, all right, cut that out, welded new stuff. They make replacement panels. That's something, too, that, I really didn't really think about. That rear cab they make for the truck now, man, that's only within like last year or two they started repopping that. As far as I know, I've never seen him before, and he was saying the same thing. So it's probably accurate. So it would have been a son of a bitch, 7 years ago when they didn't make this stuff. You make cab corners and this and that or whatever. But so that's part of the good thing with these trucks getting more popular. Now parts are more available. You know, they're repopping a lot of stuff and all that. So I can do a lot of things and set it up the way I want and get it fixed. And, well, I should probably do it in a different order. I should get it fixed. Watch, we're going to do it at the same time. And me and him were talking about that, and you'll see we're going to do a bunch of videos on this thing as we're doing it. We're going to break it down and bring it to him. So, because there's no reason for me to pay him to tear it apart, and he don't really want the stuff in his shop either. So we're both going to win a little bit there. But yeah, we'll talk about that as we go through it. But lessons learned, guys. Number one, get your classic car properly insured. At the time, and this is how petty this was, guys. I wanted, if I remember correctly, I think Haggerty was like saying it was like 26 or 25, and Grundy was 24 or 5 or something. Super tight and like a significant amount of money, you know. Instead, I got nothing because I was nitpicking. So, even this Le Mans now, guys, this thing has got Haggerty on it. My FXR's got Haggerty on it. You know, any of the old stuff. And it's smart. It's just the way to go. And it's not like it used to be, you can only drive in a parade or something. You can drive this thing all the time. I got down to the actual mileage I drive in these things. So, you know, actually, I probably got it more because you guys know how these things have been acting, right? So, that's first and foremost. Protect your investment, man. Protect your work. You know, it's something, my father always said that. Insurance, insurance, insurance. And I'm like, well, I should have listened to him because this whole truck situation. Now, that truck would still be wrecked, right? That wouldn't have changed. But I would have had plenty of money to buy a new one, fix it, whatever. Have it fixed. Now, that's the second one, guys. Know when, know your limits. That's it. Because, and I learned this when I first joined the Navy. Caesar Cisnato, he was an E5. I was like E2, E1, whatever I was. He says to me, we're doing something, maintenance on the ship. And he said, yeah, we got to call these guys for that. I said, whoa, I thought, because this guy was great. This guy could do anything. I said, oh, man, I thought you were the man. You got to have somebody else? He said, that's the secret to being good. Know your limits. I knew that, and I carried that with me the whole time in the Navy. But for some reason, I forgot it. And the guy was actually telling me, we're looking at the car. He's like, dude, you can fix this, man. I'm looking at what you're doing right. You can fix this. I said, probably, but I wouldn't trust. Like, I'm not, guys, you guys know I'm not a great welder. You know, just because I can put two pieces of metal together, don't make me a welder. And that's a lot of structural stuff. So, peace of mind, you know, you can't put a price on that. Apparently he could, but seriously. And guys, it's more than reasonable, you know. I don't really like to talk about money or whatever, but it's more than reasonable. So, there's a couple things right there, guys. Protect your investment, you know, and make a decision. You know, I didn't make a decision, and it sat forever. I lost 7 years of enjoying this vehicle. That's the only way to look at it, right? Now, because, like I said, parts availability, my procrastination kind of paid off a little bit. But, I mean, who knows? Prices also went crazy lately, so maybe 7 years ago, that would cost me half of that, right? Instead, I ended up buying, I've had a Jeep I drove for a while, then I bought a F-150 to drive, and all these other vehicles I bought, because I didn't have that one. You know, that was my daily ride, every day. A little hot in the summer, but it's fine. So, those are the most important things, guys. And don't be afraid to call somebody that's gonna do the job, and humble yourself. Let him do it, because he's not doing the whole thing. Like, he's gonna fix that stuff. We're gonna bring it in. We're gonna do some mechanic work on it, all that kind of thing. We'll finish the rest of the body work. I'm gonna paint it. We're gonna do all the stuff. He's just doing the stuff that I have a really good chance of screwing up. All right, so think about that. There's no shame in farming out a couple things. I was always like, oh, you build everything. That's stupid. It's just stupid, you know? So ain't nothing wrong with farming it out a little bit, and you can enjoy your car. All right, so just think about that, and make sure you guys keep watching, because we're about to dive into this thing. Thanks for watching, guys.